Hello everyone and welcome back. The year started on a very demanding note, and January was not a very pleasant month. Winter in general slows me down, and with one adversity after another, I felt the need to take some time for myself. Sometimes all you can do is wait for the tough time to pass. The whole family came down with a seasonal flu, and it took me a lot of time to recover, both physically and mentally. However, the silver lining is that I took a lot of rest, and that rest helped me recharge significantly. Additionally, the weather gods seem to be smiling, and the freezing chills are finally gone. That alone is enough to motivate me and get me moving. Everyone has that one trigger point, and for me, making the bed feels like the starting line of my marathon. Tackling this one simple task helps clear my mind, remove any friction, and set a positive tone for the day. I also feel that making the bed automatically makes the entire room cleaner, which feels like a big accomplishment right at the start of the day. And of course, that motivates me to keep going. What about you? What's that first task that helps you build momentum? Let me know in the comment section. Once I'm done with that, I quickly tackle the smaller tasks around the house to check off as many to dos as possible. Washing clothes is one of those low hanging fruits. Next, I move on to setting up the kitchen for the day. Putting the utensils back in their proper places gives me immense satisfaction. Everything goes back where it belongs, and the kitchen feels organized again. I had very recently shared my whole kitchen organization vlog, and that vlog I'll link in the description box for you to check. After completing a few tasks I enjoy to give myself a kickstart, I begin to tackle the ones I don't particularly like. Dusting the house, for instance, is a very boring chore for me, but somebody has to do it, right? I take it slow and dust 3 to 4 sections of the house every day. This breaks the monotony of dusting and ensures things stay clean in rotation. Today I'm just doing a very superficial dusting with normal water and a dusting cloth. While dusting, I often find myself reorganizing a section or decluttering to freshen up the space. For example, my workstation was a bit messy, so I quickly organized the cables, drawer, and desk to tidy things up. The balcony windows were also full of dust, so I decided to clean them today. With the weather changing, it's time to touch up my plants as well. Today, I'll focus on this syngonium because its roots are popping out and it's not getting enough support. Plant therapy will be for another day, but if you are into plants, now is the perfect time to bring some of these green beauties into the house. After a long illness, I was craving a good sandwich. I had some frozen corns and decided to make a corn cheese sandwich for a healthy meal. I started by heating the frozen corn in some water in the microwave for around 30 seconds. And in the meantime, I did all the prep. When I worked in Mumbai, I remember there was a sandwich vendor below our office who made amazing sandwiches. I even took one home once to let Karthik taste it. Today, I was craving that same sandwich, so I decided to make a street style version. I mixed some chopped onion, capsicum, paneer, and boiled corns. For the spices, I added lots of black pepper, black salt, table salt, and red chili flake, then mixed everything well. If you like it spicy, you can add some Szechuan chutney or chili sauce to give it an extra kick.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days.
Next, I line the slices of bread with some spicy green chutney and tomato ketchup.
And I really wanna know if
I added a generous amount of filling and topped it off with cheese.
where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know.
For that street style vibe, I used this sandwich maker, which I greased with some butter and toasted the sandwich over direct flame.
Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say
I turned and twisted it regularly to prevent it from burning. It takes about 3 to 4 minutes for each sandwich to toast properly and get that golden brown crust on top.
jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs.
Now let me cut it open and show you the filling.
Say I lost my mind.
Crisp on the outside and with a spicy gooey filling on the inside, this sandwich is absolutely delicious.
Even if the skies fall,
Sandwiches aren't just quick breakfast option, but with just a slight variation, they can bring a big change in taste. Once the kids are off to school, I sometimes enjoy experimenting with different recipes for myself before serving the family over the weekend.
even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah, the sky is falling down.
Today's biggest agenda is to tackle the messy pantry. Things had been getting cluttered. Empty containers, random boxes, and it kept getting worse each day as I was continuously dumping packets and containers inside, delaying the organization. But today, I decided it was time to deal with the mess. My golden rule of tackling any cluttered area is always to start by emptying the space. So I'm going to take everything out of the pantry first. Next, I'll clean and dry all the empty containers. I keep all my daily use spices freshly milled and store them in airtight containers. This batch of turmeric had been waiting to be transferred. I believe freshly milled spices provide better taste and color to the food. Now I'll start refilling and restocking the pantry containers one by one. I bought these tall jars from IKEA, though I didn't find them to be the best. The bottoms are tapered, so they are not very stable, but they are still good for storing lightweight items like breakfast cereals. These narrow glass containers aren't airtight, but they are a good size for everyday essentials like suji, peanuts, etc. These airtight PET containers are my favorite when it comes to keeping food fresh for longer period. Next up, I have these glass containers with wooden lids. They look aesthetically pleasing, but they are not the most airtight. I use them to store spices I frequently use like bay leaves, dried red chilies, kasuri methi, etc. This is the 1 kg of the same airtight PET container, and trust me, by far they are the best out of all. Next, I have these PET lock and lock containers. I use them to store large pulses and everyday grocery items like chola, rajma, etc. Very recently, I bought this mint powder to try. Making mint powder at home takes a bit of a time, and since I use it regularly for the flavor, I will use this store-bought one until my homemade batch is ready. Now that all the laborious work is done, I'll quickly wipe down the pantry before starting to place the containers back. On the lower shelf, I'll put the heavy containers of powdered spices. Next to that, I'll place some miscellaneous packets and food items in this basket. This spice section wasn't being used frequently, so I wanted to make better use of this space. I am moving it out of here and into the pantry unit. In the now empty section, I'll place items like ketchup, peanut butter, various oils, etc. And now that this step organizer is in the pantry, I'll also place the other spice jars here to create a single spice unit. The shelf above this will hold all my slim tall jars. Next to that, I'll store half of the PET containers with bigger grains and a few type of flours. On the top shelf, I'll store all my whole spice containers. And the section next to them will hold other containers, including some empty jars for future groceries. Next to the spice section, I'll place a basket with all the pickles. These slim containers will go in the cupboard next to the pantry since I use them on a daily basis. I have already done a video on how I organized my entire kitchen along with pantry, and that video I'll link in the description box for you to check out. And that's how everything related to the pantry is now organized. Properly filled, restocked, and placed in the right spot in the kitchen based on the frequency of use while utilizing the available space effectively. The organization also helped me create extra space and remove the clutter that was unnecessarily lying around. The bottom drawers now contain all my extra pantry packets and a few kitchen essentials. Let me know what you think about this pantry arrangement. I'll wait for your reviews in the comment section. Now that the pantry is set, I took a break and wanted to make something super quick, healthy and simple for lunch. I had soaked some sprouts and decided to make moong curry, or also called khatti moong curry with bajre ki roti. I'll take half the sprouts and boil them a bit to speed up the cooking time. I'll add around half a cup of water and some salt. Then pressure cook them for one whistle on medium-high flame. For the rest of the prep, I'll peel 7 to 8 garlic pods, slit 1 green chili, and roughly chop an onion. Then I'll finely chop the onion and garlic in the chopper, as this gives the curry a better texture. Next, I'll take 1 cup of homemade curd and add around 1.5 teaspoon of gram flour to it. I'll whisk everything and then add 1 cup of water to the mixture. In the kadai, I'll heat some ghee and add mustard seeds, ajwain, cumin seeds, a few bay leaves, and the green chili. I'll saute everything until the seeds start to crackle. Then add the onion garlic mix along with the finely chopped ginger. I'll saute it for about 1 minute. The sprouts are done. So next I'll add half teaspoon of turmeric and coriander powder into the curry masala and mix it well. Then I'll add the curd besan mixture. I prefer to strain it to remove any lumps. Now I'll keep stirring the curry until it starts to boil. Once it comes to a boil, I'll add the boiled sprouts and mix everything well. Let it simmer for 10 to 12 minutes until the curry thickens and the flavor develops.
I can hear the wind chiming. It's always been you.
While the curry simmers, I'll make a delicious garlic chutney as I am craving for it. I'll microwave garlic for 15 seconds, which help in removing the skin easily. I learned this chutney from my dad, who made it recently when I visited my parents. This is a slightly different version, but it tastes equally good. Again, in the chopper, I'll fine grind lots of garlic and 1 onion together. You can also grind it in a mixer for a smoother texture. Now it's time to add the tadka to the curry. Very recently, I bought this beautiful mini cast iron pan which is very versatile, and I'll use it for the tadka today. It's lightweight, has a wooden handle, so no worries about burning my hands. I make pancakes, bun dosa and mini utpams in this pan, and it works really well. I'll add salt to the curry at the end. Also, I'll take some out for Dhairya before adding the tadka, as he can't eat too spicy food. For the tadka, in some ghee, I'll add some hing, red chili powder and a whole red chili, then pour it into the curry. I will also add lots of kasuri methi and freshly chopped coriander to bring the best flavors out. And this is how the delicious moong curry or khatta moong is ready. Next, we'll prepare the chutney. So now in a pan, I'll heat 1 tablespoon of oil and add cumin seeds. Once the seeds crackle, I'll add a mix of red chili and Kashmiri red chili powder and immediately add the onion garlic mix to avoid chilies from burning. I'll saute this for 1 minute and add some water to prevent anything from burning. I'll add salt to taste and 2 teaspoons of amchur powder, as it adds a nice sourness into the chutney. Now cook the chutney for good 8 to 10 minutes. Finally, I'll make the bajra roti. These days I eat before Dhairya comes back home, so I'll quickly make 1 chapati for myself. Kids don't really like bajra roti, so I'll make regular parathas for them once they are back. To make the soft bajra roti, I knead the dough in hot water and let it rest for 5 minutes. The dough should be slightly softer than regular chapati dough. This ensures that the chapati comes out soft. I'll flatten the dough with my palm first before rolling it into a round shape.
I'll be right here. I swear that I'll stay here with you.
Then I'll place it on a hot tawa and add a little water to avoid cracks.
I wanna stay here with you. All that we have is each other now. I promise
I'll toast the chapati on tawa on both sides and then toast it on direct flame to get a nicely fluffed up bajra roti. It does take a bit of a practice, but once you get the hang of it, soft bajra chapati is so easy to make. Add lots of ghee and it's done.
it's enough for you. If I'm giving you my love, giving you my love, love.
And this is how my simple, healthy and wholesome lunch plate looks. I hope you enjoyed watching this vlog. If you did, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more such vlogs. You can also join me on Instagram for the daily life updates, and I'll see you in the next vlog very soon.
Swear that I'll stay here